morning and welcome to North Texas Networkers, a show about connecting interesting people across the DFW area. I'm Caralee.
And I'm Stacy.
And we are happy to have you here today. We've got a special guest, but before we get started, Stacy, how was your weekend?
It was pretty quiet, actually. We kind of hung out and regrouped and got ready for a busy week coming up. So it was kind of nice to have that a down day or two just to
That's good.
regroup.
What was that like?
I don't know. It was unusual.
I would love that.
How was your weekend?
It was busy. Yeah. I did a little bit of work here, and then I also did some work over in Plano this weekend, and so we had a lot going on this weekend. A lot with fires and that market is crazy.
It is a bit. I keep trying to find a different word besides crazy, and I just can't.
I can't either. That's the only one I can think
crazy,
of.
But it's a good crazy. So
That's good.
We'll ride it out.
That's good. Well, before we get started today, I don't want to forget to thank Craig Schrank with Willow Bend Mortgage for being our sponsor today. We love having him be a part of our show, and he's also a great mortgage lender if you need someone. And thank you so much. Let's get started with the show.
All right.
Well, today we have a special guest, and you may notice we're not in our normal studio. Today we are in downtown Fort Worth on Commerce Street at Vigor Gym. And actually, you know what? This place is a new location for Real News PR, and we're glad to be here in the studio. And you can see the traffic behind me, which I love. It gives a great dynamic. So we'll be having a few of our podcasts over here, aside from the normal studio that we're in. But today we have Dr. Steven Newhart, and he has been helping people with fitness and involved in fitness for 20 years now, and he has a degree in kinesiology along with some other a master's as well as a PhD. So we'll talk to him about that today. We just are so glad to have him here, and I want you to know he's been helping people so long and helping them so well that they actually nicknamed him Dr. Fit. So welcome, Dr. Fit.
Hi, Caralee and Stacy. Thanks for having me on the show, you guys. I appreciate it.
We're so glad to have you on.
Yeah.
It's great to have you here in the studio, too. This is exciting.
Yes.
You guys bring it to life.
Fun little studio over here. So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about your family, where you're from.
Oh, my goodness.
Who is Dr. Fit?
I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I
would have never guessed that.
I trick people with that all the time. And I moved here when I was pretty young, like six years old when I moved here. And then I just started, transitioning in. Not much of a transition for the cold, right? Because even as a kid, I was running around in the snow and stuff up in Philadelphia. But moved here, and I don't know when I actually found my passion for wanting to help people with fitness. Probably sports. I started playing sports really young. Even I remember in 6th grade I was doing something by way of some physical activity, and then realizing at some point how great it made you feel, and then kind of transitioning everything into kinesiology. So it's a great way to help people. I believe it's one of the best people. I mean, however, you guys, you really help people too by getting them really great homes and things like that. I mean, people need that, in their lives. There's a few industries that I always think, wow, that's a great industry. But I love kinesiology, and I love helping people and giving them exercise opportunities and things like that. So that's kind of what
not
I
everybody knows what kinesiology is. Why don't you give a short overview?
I know.
Movement science is the way that we actually kind of look at it, because within that discipline, you're going to find exercise science, you're going to find nutrition, you're going to find a little bit of psychology and exercise psychology, and then some classes on how exercise heals chronic disease, which is, that's really why I'm doing what I'm doing now, is we know we can eliminate chronic disease with exercise. So, it started out with me just being a personal trainer and using the traditional equipment that you'd find in the gym, but now I've kind of shifted things towards studying a device that I believe to be the next best thing to resistance training, because you're going to look at flexibility improvement, rate of force development, so you're faster, you're stronger, you're more flexible, bone density improves. So there's a lot there, and it's super easy, and I believe you actually tried it earlier while you were here.
So what are when you're talking about chronic disease, what are some examples of the chronic diseases that people can overcome just through health and exercise?
It's a good question, and maybe we should actually start with the cause. Well, let's start with the cause so that we can kind of put this out there, and maybe people will stop and think, oh, has this happened to me? The second we stop moving our bodies regularly, there's plenty of sedentary jobs now. That was a big hit. That started leading towards chronic disease. I mean, even chronic disease, like pain is chronic disease in a sense. It's a chronic problem. But as you sit and don't move your body, then it tightens up and nothing wants to move. And then when things don't want to move, you stand and it'll pull your pelvis in some direction, your spine gets out of alignment, and all of a sudden there's pain. That's not your natural position. You know, so you've taken yourself out of your natural position. So just being sedentary alone. And when you're sedentary, nothing fuels your cells, so your cells kind of start to die. You know, and we think about how many cells we're made up of. It's so many billion, trillion, whatever. As soon as a few of them even start to die, that starts causing disease. So, and when you're not utilizing the sugar that we have in our diets, we all know that there's sugar in everything now. When you're not utilizing sugar, that's where diabetes starts. So chronic
So what do you
disease.
mean not utilizing sugar? If you're obviously
burning
consuming
calories.
it, do you just mean, is that what you're saying? Burning
Yeah,
it?
expending calories. And to me, a lot of these diseases, the insulin resistance we get from diabetes, it's caused by an excess buildup of a high density calorie that's not being utilized, and cells just become dysfunctional. You know, but every cell has a membrane, and the membrane is supposed to be made up of really nice saturated fat, actually is what it's supposed to be made up of. And some of the stuff we put in the canola oils that we consume, the sugars we consume, it deteriorates and destroys the cell membrane, so that cell dies, or it just can't hold energy or whatever, and then you just get a chronic disease that comes out of it. And
So
all chronic.
What do you think the best way to combat that is?
Well, so you have to move your body, obviously. And so as I've told you guys, the next pathway is to find a device that almost moves your body for you. You felt it, probably felt your muscles.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, we
Yeah.
went and tried this.
Yeah.
What do we call it? A vibration floor, right? Is what you call it?
Vibration platform. Everybody's
Platform.
got a different name, which is
Okay.
funny. Vibration floor, that could be a cool one too. People they're like wobble board. They're like, you know, it's a million things.
That's
It
I
did
like
feel like a
wobble
wobble
board.
board.
If you look in the literature, it's going to be called whole body vibration
Okay.
platforms is what they actually have called them. We call ours the arc wave.
Okay.
Created a nice fun name for it, which, you know, maybe people will associate with that, maybe they won't, I don't know, but that's what we call ours.
So tell us how
Yeah,
it
how
functions.
does it work?
How does it work?
Well, when your body like, so a joint, let's just say this is my leg, it's my upper leg and my lower leg. When your joint is forced to bend, so if I jumped off the ground right now and then landed, gravity would force my limb to bend. When your limb bends and it's forced to bend, there are these mechanoreceptors, as they're called, inside your muscles, and they sense that stretch. The second they sense a stretch, they contract back. So they forcefully contract to stop the bend from occurring. So when you're on that, it's force, bend, and every single time your muscle's doing an active contraction. So that's how it works.
So we did level 5. How high up does it go?
Just level 10.
Okay.
And
So we're only halfway there.
and everything that you'll see in the literature is based around the frequency and the amplitude, or the frequency and the amplitude. So how fast is it going, and then how far is it moving? You know,
I have
what's
to
the
say we did it in
displacement?
heels, so that actually probably made it like a level 7.
That's exactly right.
I think it was like a level 7.
You're on level 7, no
We even
doubt.
rode the bikes on our heels.
Yeah, it's you know, you're engaging the calves more most likely by doing that, and if you want to be real. So that's how it works, but it's causing a muscle contraction. Anything we can do that causes a muscle contraction is going to bring blood flow to cells, and it's going to burn this excess sugar. You guys are in great shape, so it looks like you're not consuming a whole bunch of extra sugar. But in the world,
Try to stay away from the gummy bears.
everybody knows. You know, everybody kind of knows now. Some of us choose to continue to do it, but I don't think that people want to have pills in their life, or have a chronic disease, or have to go to the hospital all the time with the doctor because so I don't, you know, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think that's what people want. So I try to deliver new things to help them, to get them to do that.
Can I ask a question? Because I'm just
course,
curious.
yeah.
We were standing on there vibrating, but what other things do you do? Surely you do an exercise program on there besides just stand on
Just
it and
We do.
jiggle.
We do. And so you just have to put yourself in a different position, because if you stand there and bend your knees, that's going to go to your quads.
Okay.
If you hinge at your hips, then it'll go to your hamstrings. If you go down into a really deep squat position, it'll be your inner thighs. If you put one leg off, it's again inner thigh. So there's a lot of different positions you can put yourself in, where our instructors get very creative and they just teach classes on them, and we do full everything. Anything you would do in a, you know, like
Workout.
a fitness class workout, you do it on there. It's amplifying the workout. But then again, the reason why I like it is the people that just can't move well. That's who I'm really trying to take it to, because if they stand on it, they burn calories.
My
They burn
mother-in-law
sugar.
needs those.
Yeah.
See, that's
I
exactly
love
what
it.
I'm talking about. Everybody says that.
Well, can people actually purchase it from you?
Oh, of course.
Okay, or they can come here to Vibrant Gym and work out with your
They
people.
They can come here and do it here in a class setting, or I have them to distribute, only because I want to bring the stuff to people, Yeah, and I've researched it to make sure that it's safe. I mean, that was the focus of my dissertation at school, is around this
Wow.
device and this stuff. So.
Is it
That's
pricey
very-
or is it affordable?
We do 3,300. We
Okay.
do 3,300, but we distribute it with a bunch of training. We've spent hours and hours. Where you guys were on the platforms over there, that's a theater, so it's a Zoom room, so it's a recording studio. We record all of our stuff there, so we have recordings to deliver. We still do live classes, 5 a week. We do classes here, which could easily be live streamed. People can just click in on Zoom and be with the live crew if you want to. So put all that stuff together. It's just the next next step in helping people.
Now you're going to utilize that with the brain cells, and this is kind of how you're talking about tying things together. You were telling
Yeah.
us earlier.
We are delivering, and this is a separate company from what I'm doing here at the club. We'll probably implement it at some point, but we're taking this package to physicians so that they can use it, and bringing this to the physicians is what brings it to the people that have the chronic diseases, which is why I'm so set on it. I want to go that route. I want to make sure that those people have the opportunity. But yes, so I was talking about an EEG brain scan, and you said, man, I don't want you to see my brain, That'll be the first, but
Stacy's been trying to get in my brain for a long time.
It's a scary place.
we'll deliver her brain scan to you.
There we go.
You can see, you're like, oh no.
Oh, no.
I get it now. I'm not gonna. Yeah, so it's a different motivating tool. Back when we would use calipers and pinch people's body fat, nobody wanted to do that either. One things, you're not pinching my fat. I mean, I'd still get it here. Then they came out with the bioelectrical impedance, which was the little handheld thing, which is where it just delivers a small current to your body and back to the machine, and you can get body fat. It was a little bit inaccurate, but it was something. So we would use those because people say, you're not pinching me. And now it'll turn into, you're not seeing my brain, but for the people that care, that want to see what's actually happening, why? Can I see the depression? Can I see anxiety? Can I see, all these things that could be corrected?
So how do you actually see that? I mean, when you're using the brain scans, is it just coloration, discoloration in certain areas of
Pretty
the brain?
much, yep. And so you see the lobes, you see discoloration, you see it when a certain lobe is not communicating with another lobe, which is very interesting because your brain's supposed to communicate in a very specific fashion. So these things identify, and an EEG gets transformed into what we call a QEEG, which is qualitative. So it's a qualitative, 3D scan that you can see. A basic EEG just has a bunch of squiggly lines on it. And the doctor knows how to read it, but these are more layperson. So it's like, I can actually see that it doesn't work. And I've had mine done, several times just to see what it looks like.
Should we be as guinea pigs?
Maybe.
We should.
So how do you change behavior versus what you find out in the readings?
We're implementing and bringing to the physicians to use a couple different devices. We want them to have the ability to affect the brain positively, where if somebody says, I'm not going to go and exercise right off the bat. Just to backtrack slightly, there's a ton of studies that show that the best cure for depression is exercise, not medication plus exercise, just exercise. And as I told you, going through kinesiology, you've got all the chronic diseases, the diabetes, the depression, this and that. They're all always healed by moving your body more. Maybe it gives you more of a purpose. I don't know what it really is. Maybe it's just blood flow. I don't know. But whatever it is, it always seems to be the best cure. So, we are going to utilize TMS, which is transcranial magnetic stimulation. We've partnered with a couple of doctors who do this so that we could activate dormant areas or areas of the brain that are not working properly for the patient, or neurofeedback, which is a much less aggressive type of treatment. It doesn't send anything into your brain. It's just auditory cues that you hear, and it's relaxation, and it can help to alleviate depression and stress and stuff. But then delivering a vibration platform where people, I know a lot of people in the psych department at UTA, and they say the last thing that a depressed person wants to do is exercise. Well, they don't want to come here and walk through that door and see all the happy, fit people and this and that. Of course, that's not something you feel like doing. But if you had a device you could just stand on, maybe we can start finding more success delivering exercise to them. So brain scan, TMS, and other things if needed, and an easy exercise device. And then hopefully they start to feel better and we can get them out of there and into the fitness center. But that's the life goal that we'll just continue to fix, hone in on, change, measure, adjust, and get it right.
I think that's amazing. There's so many people out there that are going to benefit from
I hope so.
that technology and tying it together with fitness and just overall health. I think that's
I hope so.
amazing.
And all these addictive things in our lives now, from social,
Phones and
even
social
all
medias.
that. It's just like we've got to find a different way of
Let me
getting.
ask you, I mean, out of the people that you've helped, what is the most meaningful story you can share with us of how you've helped someone and really changed their lives because of what you're doing?
Well, the new goal that I was just telling you about, that's still
In its infancy,
we're getting it's in its infancy stage. We're getting it there. Now I have the research to show that works. So that's good there, and I know that everybody delivered to is going to get helped. But as a trainer, there's been a lot of tears, but the happy tears, of course, because osteoporosis goes away, or the 150 pounds goes away. That's what has happened in my life. That's why I'm still here. I still remember those, and I think that it's massively important. And when you actually can help somebody change a life, there's nothing better that I think we can do with our lives than help somebody change their life. That's my perspective anyways. Everybody's perspective is completely different.
Yeah.
But to see that happiness, to see that change, there's nothing in the world like it. To know that you've actually done something meaningful, or like I said, for me anyways, that's what lots
So
of life changes.
Somebody's watching this and they've had that sedentary lifestyle. What's an easy first step? I mean, what do you start doing just to go in the right direction?
I do believe that these places, especially this place, this gym, this fitness center, is the first step. You have to get through the door. You tell people to go do it at home, our likelihood of success is going to be low. Once you link yourself with a community in a location, meet the people, especially here, because here, and there's a lot of other fitness centers that'll say the same thing. You're not just some number. We all know who you are, and we all want your success. And here, nobody looks at each other in a negative way. That's obviously huge. We have people of all kinds of different demographics and stages in life and weight and all that, and people come in with chronic disease. It happens. So you have to find the right location, and I always want to be a location that's like that, where we can,
That's so important.
yeah.
Tell everybody your location, and then also let them know how they can reach you or reach this facility so that they can get the help that you provide.
Plenty of ways. We're Vigor active. We're downtown Fort Worth, 615 Commerce Street. Phone number 817-336-6784. Email, you could email me at steven@vigoractive.net. So there's a lot of different ways to get a hold of it. And I don't hide from anything. I love talking to people. Some owners are like, don't talk to me. I'm not like that, because I mean I want to help. You have to be there to also help. Of course, transition. We have great staff here, so I'd be the first person that they talk to. But then, hey, give everybody a shot. If you'd like to have a personal trainer, we do that. Or if you just like to use the equipment, we do that. So we offer those initial, kind of just lead-ins, or hold the hand for a second and get. But it's got to be that. I've messed around with the home fitness. You experience.
There's a level of accountability when somebody's waiting for you to show up for your workout appointment.
That's exactly right.
That's when I work out.
That's when I work out best too, when I have that accountability. That's how people operate.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody just today. I was showing them around the club, and it came to that exact thing. And I said, well, having the train, sometimes you'll show up just because of the appointment. Just the appointment alone is all that you actually need to know to show up. So
Yeah, my son really gave me a hard time because I've used a trainer for, gosh, a long time. And he's like, Mom, why are you paying to have that trainer? You're just paying to have an appointment. And I said, no, I'm paying so that I'll work out. I mean, and I get that training that I need and the skills that I need that I don't know how to do. And each time I'm getting something different. You know, it's not me doing the same routine over and over again because you need a variety of in your exercise routine.
And look at what great shape you've kept yourself. It's but here's the thing, you know, because I have actually laid this out for people before as far as what you're spending your money on, okay? Because just alone, one session of a training, you know, of personal training, let's just say it's $65. You're going to spend more than that at dinner. You're going to eat horribly. So I could do this and pay $65 and have an eventful 1 hour of exercise, which then will make me live longer. Or I can go here and spend it here, which will most likely shorten my life. So it is only, and people like, money is just a value. You know, it's what's your value. Hopefully you're not finding more value in what will harm you and then seeing the value in things that will help you. But that's all that it's about, because people are like, oh, it's expensive. It's, hang on, because I could do the math and you're spending more on things that hurt you every month than things that are doing you.
Doctor visits because of chronic pain
Totally.
and, you know, all of that goes with it.
$400 a month people probably spend on eating out, if not more.
So is it $65 a month to join the gym or $65 an hour to have the training session?
Actually, both.
Okay,
That
it's
is
the
our
same.
price point here.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's affordable.
but we provide everything for you know. And if you go into the,
Oh my gosh, your locker room is so nice and there's showers.
you can come here. You don't need to bring anything.
And I love the red equipment. That's
Thank you.
brightens your day.
And additionally, if some people who rent a locker with us, we actually wash their gym clothes.
Really?
They get a mesh bag. You put it in the laundry. We wash, dry, refold, put back in your locker for the next time you come here. And that's only
customer service.
$15 a month for the locker, which we're probably losing out on that. I would imagine. It's just we want to provide that good
value
service.
add.
Yeah, we want to provide that value for people. And if you actually go in the men's, I don't know how many are in the women's now, but we're just almost out of lockers because everybody has their own locker. They're like, yeah, I want to come down. I want my gym clothes to be in there, and I want my locker full of stuff. The amenities are in the showers, so it just makes it really convenient. But no, so
Very cool.
that's us.
Yeah. So what was your sport when you said you did youth sports? What was
Everything.
Everything.
But football, you know, ended up being the one from 7th grade up until 12th grade. That's all I did there. It became the priority. But baseball, soccer, after college, my wife and we played co-ed soccer for many years.
Oh, that's fun.
So where I didn't want to go and smash my body up anymore, started playing just recreational soccer.
So your wife's into fitness as well.
She's a kinesiology major as well. She works in South Lake there, and she's got a great job out there with the city. But she was a collegiate soccer player, so
fantastic.
she took it one year further than I did with my. But when I graduated, I became a gym rat. You know, so of course, it's like, oh good, I could be in the gym for 3 hours a day when I should be studying.
Well, so if you weren't a kinesiology major, a fitness person, and you could choose anything else you'd want to be, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. A businessman. No.
You are.
I am now. Wait. I like architecture and the thought of design and building and things. So I'd probably do something like that. Which is probably why I build people's bodies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all that makes sense to me. And
That's an
so I would do
interesting
that.
way to think of training, building people's
Build-
bodies.
It's true.
Totally.
It's totally true.
Every exercise, and that's probably what separated me from some trainers. I would look at people's bodies, and every exercise had like 4 purposes why I was doing it. So one exercise, bang, we're fixing your posture, we're building muscle, your heart rate's up. You know, so there was multiple uses for everything. But you're really, the ones that really like we take it seriously, you stare at somebody's body and you're like, okay, I could, and you start building it, and you just build it from the ground up.
Might as well, because we're doing that to ourselves.
I know.
It's true.
I need to work that.
We're always, I do it too. We're always analyzing and assessing and looking, and those of us that care.
So how much, don't you kind of wonder how much, I don't wonder very much, but how much people focus on that so much that it's causing their brain to have that stress?
Focusing on their body.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Body image.
There's an element to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely, and if it adds an extra stress component, it's kind of like, which is why
It's a vicious
everything
cycle.
everything leads me back to our food supply. And I wish that we didn't allow, because other countries don't allow some of the things that are in our food in their food, because then they don't have to think about body image, because it happens naturally, because there's nothing they can put in their mouth that makes them, it doesn't
Wow.
exist. Oh yeah.
It's too late for us.
I want you to watch. I interviewed Dee McCaffrey last week from afar.
Okay.
She's a good friend of mine.
Sorry. It's the first time I've ever had that go out there on our show.
It can be edited.
Thank goodness for editing.
Dee wrote The Science of Skinny, and she identifies everything. So we had a good discussion via Zoom. I was here. She was I believe she's in Arizona. And she'll probably hear that and go, I don't live in Arizona. But she's somewhere else. And so we talked on the show about it. But I live by her book. And that's how we feed our children and everything.
Wow.
She's given us all the tools. She will give you the tools in that book.
Wow. What do you think is the number one thing that she suggests? Or were you going to ask that?
I was going to say the number one thing to get rid of, not do.
She's got several, but I kind of have them memorized now. High fructose corn syrup is going to come with mercury. That's very harmful. Canola oil is going to destroy the cell membrane of cells, so you can't store energy in your cells. White flour and sugar have been bleached, and it's the same bleach like you use on your clothes. So how's that going to treat the inside of your body? So those are the main four that always stick out in my head. There's more. Then you could think about the pesticides on the fruits and stuff like that. That exists. That's chemical. Too much chemical is going to get us. It just so happens if you eat ketogenic or more natural, then you cut out a bunch of that stuff.
Interesting.
People like, I'm going to cut out carb. It's like cut out carb. Well, the carbohydrate, the complex carbohydrate, the bread, it's a great place to hide stuff. And that's where it all lives. So that's why when you cut out the complex carbohydrates, you cut that out. But like a brown rice, that's not going to harm anybody,
Right.
That's one of those things like, that's okay to eat. It's not really going to get you. Or a potato, it's just not in such high quantities.
I love potatoes.
I do that.
Yeah, just sliver it up, have a third a day.
bites.
If you think about how hard a potato really is when it comes out of the ground, like we heat it up and that makes it soft so we can consume the whole thing. But in reality, you'd probably get full before you'd be able to consume the whole thing because it's so hard. Teeth would probably hurt before, you know what I mean? Or it would take you a whole day. And that would be all you'd eat in that day is that potato because it was like so tough to get it all in there, It's kind of like orange juice and oranges, We're drinking 8 oranges in a glass of orange juice, but nobody can eat 8 oranges, in one sitting at all. You could eat 2 maybe. And you're like, it's enough oranges. All that fiber, you're like, oh, and then you're full, and it's nauseating at that point. So it's just all it's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
Anyway,
sure.
not too much.
Well, no, I've learned a lot today. I think this has really sparked some thought, and it's just amazing that all of the information that ties together in our fitness and our health and just our overall quality of life, really.
It's true.
Yes, you've really done a good job of explaining that, and thank you so much for being on our show. I really appreciate it. We always love our guests.
Yeah,
So
learned a lot.
thank you, Dr. Fit, otherwise known as Dr. Steven Newhart with Vigor. I think I said that active. Yes, I just said
Vigor?
Vigor
Active.
earlier, but yes,
Vigor?
Vigor Active, and I'm glad to have you here and to learn so much. So
you
thank
so
you for
much.
joining our show.
Of course.
I'm Caralee,
I'm Stacy,
and we are your real estate professionals.
Thank you for joining us on North Texas Networkers.
Visit our website, mariposagroupdfw.com. That's MARIPOSA Group dfw.com for more information about the show and other resources. I'm Caralee.
And I'm Stacy.
And we are your real estate professionals.